let's just see how this all kind of got started. Let's go with Patrick. Why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
I grew up in Long Island, New York. I went to this small upstate school in SUNY Albany, city of Albany. I graduated from Albany with a master's in beer pong. You know, very, very, very skilled player at beer pong after I graduated from school. I was the guy that thought, hey, listen, East Asian studies must be the simplest thing to do because I'm Asian, right? East Asian studies. Who the hell fucking didn't tell me that East Asian studies like 10,000 years of history? Like, what the fuck? Like, really? You know what I mean? Go figure. Anyway, I graduated college, went back to New York City, had no idea what the fuck I wanted to do. So you know what I did? I partied. Again, more partying. So you know what? I partied so much, I was like, hey, listen, what else better than to make money while partying? So what did I do? I became a New York City party promoter for 6 years of my life in New York City. It got to the point one day where I was like, listen, I'm probably going to end up dead if I keep on drinking 7 days a week. I'm not going to get anywhere. So my parents, typical Asian parents, looked at me and they're like, listen, you need to do something with your life. Go and do construction. So what did I do? I ended up get thrown in the construction field, cleaning garbage at a construction site in New York City. And from there, I learned my construction background. I learned how to build high-rise construction. Self-taught. Nobody ever taught me because most of the guys didn't speak English on a construction site. You know, I was a translator pretty much because I worked for a Chinese construction company. I ended up moving up to upstate New York 13 years ago. Bought my first real estate development project 13 years ago. Surprisingly, off Craigslist for $25,000. Two-family house. Go figure, right? And then from there, the story continues.
Wow. So I assume that you weren't in construction, Linda. That's not your background. Not a party promoter.
Opposite field. That's right. Yeah, my
Tell us
story
about yourself.
not as exciting as Pat's. I didn't have such a fun upbringing. I was born in Ottawa, Ontario. So I'm a Canadian. It's a very, very quiet town. Really nothing to do there. So as soon as I graduated high school, I wanted to get as far away from home as possible. So I went to school in Vancouver, British Columbia, at Simon Fraser University. I took a communications major, and then I minored in publishing. I definitely got homesick while I was there, so I ended up moving back to Toronto to be closer to my family. And after graduating university, I definitely struggled to find my place. Not only was I in a new city, making new friends, but I also couldn't find a job with my degree. It was a really generalized degree. I definitely could have applied to a wide variety of jobs. But I had a really specific goal. I wanted to work at a magazine after graduating. So it took me almost half a year until I found my first corporate job at a magazine. And then when I finally got that job was when I realized how shitty the pay was. So, here I was struggling, just got out of school. I ended up hopping around a few corporate jobs. My final one was at a digital marketing agency, which was incredible. I learned a ton about broadcast media, print, digital marketing, which was really useful. But I knew myself that something was just lacking. Even though I moved jobs, I was still scraping to get by. Everything I was making was just going to rent, and it was like a vicious cycle. So for myself, that's when I decided I had to leave the corporate world, start my own business, and that's how Ivy Swimwear was born.
Wow, that's great. We're talking about the hustle, the grind. It's never easy. It's never easy. I mean, I think you guys, let's unpack this a little bit and just talk about the real struggles you had when you were really starting. I mean, you mentioned a little bit about the beginning, but just go back in time a little bit and just tell us what you had to do.
I mean, for me, the struggle really was real. I mean, partying obviously wasn't a career. Drinking wasn't a career at the time, you know what I mean? I mean, at the end of the day, I spent all the money I made from partying, so I was broke. You know what I mean? And when you're broke, how do you buy real estate? How do you even get into that, right? My background, I always identify myself as being a contractor. Still to this day. Everyone says I'm a real estate developer, blah, blah, blah. To me, my passion is construction, right? It's not a glamorous job. I don't mind being dirty. If you see me on a day-to-day, I'm not dressed like this. I'm wearing the same pairs of jeans I've been wearing for 3 months that hasn't been washed. I'm in my bright green, like fluorescent colored, hoodie that Linda loves seeing me wear. She's like, ew, please, don't eat with that on, change. And I'm like, what? This is great. You know what I mean? So I grew up literally, I lived in the basement. When I left all my family and friends in New York City and I moved up to Albany. I literally left everybody I knew. I went up to Albany and I literally brought a couple of construction guys up there, and we couldn't even afford rent, so we lived in the basement of the project. So imagine living in a basement of a project with 6 grown Chinese guys. And then we couldn't even afford to make beds, so we made beds out of plywood. And then laundry, china, underwear hanging on hot water pipes. Yeah, go figure. You know what I mean? So really, the struggle was real, but you know what? Time, persistence. For me, I worked so hard when I was in New York that I made connections through networks. My first investor, believe it or not, was my old boss, right? He always told me, Pat, I don't expect you to work for me for the rest of your life. How many bosses do you hear actually say that to you? He literally was like, Pat, I see something in you. You're going to grow to be something. Take it. So he was the first person that actually gave me money to grow the business. And from there, we kind of snowballed into 2 families, 3 families, 4 families, 5 families, right? And again, when I first went up to the city of Albany, go to a bank, show them a W-2, they're like, wait a minute, you have Medicaid. You want me to give you $250,000 right now? Like, no, it's not going to happen, right? Everything takes time. Everything is a step by step. We got to take it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Linda, come on. Take us back. You haven't always been like this glamorous with everything that's going on. Tell us some stories. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, for me, I think a lot of people can relate. Your parents tell you to get college, a university degree. You work so hard those 4 or 5 years to get that degree, and then you graduate and you're like, what am I doing with my life? I couldn't find a job. I was so unhappy at the job that I found, and I was just so lost. So that was definitely my struggle. I knew I had a passion for fashion and fashion design, but it was just so far from what I actually went to school for. So for myself, the biggest challenge in the beginning was deciding to start from scratch, kind of abandon everything my parents taught me and to go out and venture on my own. And it was scary as a single woman, how would I pay rent? How would I support myself in a new city? My parents were in a completely different city, so I was on my own. But, if you are in a place in life where you are lost, you're confused, but you have something tugging at you, you really want to try something, you have to go for it and take that risk. And I'm not as aggressive of a risk taker as Pat was. So for myself, I still continue to do my corporate 9-to-5 grind just to support myself while starting my passion project on the side. So I think people can definitely start their own businesses, while juggling multiple jobs. And it doesn't have to be so scary. You don't have to dive head in first. You can take baby steps and just get started.
So at what was the catalyst that kind of turned your business from I'm just struggling in the streets, hanging my underwear on wires and stuff, Pat, to actually, you knew that you were on the right track. You knew that you...
at the end of the day, it's all about your credibility, right? Being credible. So our first project that I did in the city of Albany was a fire damaged property. And I don't know if many of you guys know, city of Albany is the capital of New York. And it kind of went through its downfall, right? It was a very vibrant city back in the 20s and 30s, and it kind of went into the Depression. So if you went to Albany, there's a bunch of X's on houses, abandoned, kind of like Baltimore, right? So we kind of went in there, and we started fixing houses, and by doing that, you're putting houses back on the tax roll, right? And so now neighbors that live there, all of a sudden that lived next to abandoned houses that was 10 years, they created value for their property all of a sudden, right? So they're happy. The county's happy. The city's happy, right? So we took maybe 20, 30 houses, and we slowly started building it and putting it back on tax roll. People started seeing that. The city started seeing that. And with that came a lot of opportunities, right? So my friends, my family, my network grew bigger. My friends started seeing that we're doing better. So they're like, hey, Pat, I see that you're doing pretty good up there. Well, I got a couple extra dollars here. What can we do with this? So definitely for networking, for raising money, guys, definitely look within your inner circle first, your friends, your family. But also, you have to be very, very confident, and you have to be successful, right? Whatever you say you're going to do, you got to do it. Sometimes you're going to fail. Sometimes you're going to fall flat in your face. That's normal. That is absolutely normal. Get right back up and just go out there and kill it. No matter what you do, fake it till you make it. I don't know why I like saying that, but for real, fake it till you make it.
And then Linda, you started. Talk to us about this passion project that you did and kind of how that all came about.
So I had no fashion design experience, and I was. I wanted to start a swimwear line. That was definitely the biggest challenge for me. There was a ton of trial and error in the beginning. It was crazy. I had to start from the beginning, learn about fabrics, dyes, fit. I had no idea what a tech kit was, all of these technical terms. So there was definitely a lot of wasted money in the beginning. But I really enjoyed making samples and, just testing my creativity. A huge thing that helped me, which I am super grateful for my parents, was that, I'm fluent in Mandarin now. I went to Saturday school growing up every year up until, I think grade 11. So just being able to speak Mandarin, it really allowed me to build that relationship with my manufacturers. So all of our manufacturers for Ivy Swimwear are based in Guangzhou, China. So, being Chinese and, being able to speak the second language, it was a huge bonus. Helped me build these relationships with my manufacturers. They really guided me through how to design a bikini from start to finish. I would say they had more patience with me because I could speak the language. So that's something that I'm definitely really, really grateful for my parents for drilling into me at a young age.
And I mean, you could have picked a lot of other industries that you might have had more knowledge. Why did you pick this? Why did you pick swimwear?
Yeah, so, as an Asian woman, we are a little bit more petite. So growing up, I always struggled finding petite swimwear that made me feel feminine and sexy. So I noticed a gap in the market at the time where there was really no flattering petite swimwear on the market. And I have to be honest, I shopped in the kids section at Walmart, and I actually thought that the Walmart bikinis at the time were the best fit for me. So that's why I really wanted to create a boutique swimwear brand that would, be really flattering for Asian body types specifically. And yeah, I went for that niche, focused on really feminine fabrics like lace and satin. And yeah, I just went head first for that niche, and that's what worked for us in the beginning.
That's wonderful. All right, so this is their life as individuals. Kind of, you got an idea about the background, the struggle, all of that. Then you guys met. Tell us how that all happened.
Well, me and Linda have different versions of this story, so I'll let her go first.
So ironically, we actually did meet in Vegas. That was almost 7 years ago. So it's really nice today to be here full circle. We were in full party mode at that time. But yeah, I like to say what happens in Vegas doesn't always stay in Vegas. And the rest is history.
My version is
that what happened?
Marquee pool party, bottles. That's how we met, really.
Right, fantastic. So, I mean, obviously, we're talking about you guys as a couple in business. It's a lot to balance, right? It's a lot to balance to be a couple. But how is it to be a couple in business, and how do you support each other? What is that like?
So, during COVID, obviously, real estate took a big hit, right? A big portfolio of mine was student rentals, and during that time, we had time to reorganize a little bit. And during that time, I saw an opportunity where I looked at Linda, and I was like, "Listen, what do you think about real estate?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm a little interested." I was like, "Well, guess what? You're lucky, because I know somebody that's in real estate." So I ended up giving Linda an opportunity to run my property management company. And slowly from there, we had some vacancies in our apartments. And Linda has a beautiful eye for design with the swimwear and everything. So she started her own Airbnb company renting from me.
Yeah, so I look back to when Pat and I first met. Ivy Swimwear was just a startup. It was just about a little over a year. At that time, I had actually also started a beauty academy with one of my partners in Toronto. So I was always very entrepreneurial, and I always wanted to dabble in different things and try new things, start new business ventures. So Ivy Swimwear, even without any design background, I was really proud to reach my goal of getting the brand to Miami Swim Week 2 years in a row. And, we've been picked up by some great publications. So I felt like I was definitely ready, and the business was self-running. So I was ready to start dabbling into something new. And, watching Pat over the years, it was so inspiring to see him purchase a property with no roof, so run down, and then see the incredible transformation that he would put on these properties. So I loved seeing that from start to finish, and I saw how fulfilling it was for him. So while I had some downtime during COVID, I actually went and got my real estate license. I noticed while looking at his portfolio that there was quite a bit of vacancies during COVID. So I really wanted to try a new passion project, which was short-term Airbnb rentals. And so I started renting from him. In my first year, I actually quickly built up.
She pays on time, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm his best tenant. But yeah, my first year, I went from 0 to 8 properties. And that was just kind of, doing it on the side. And I realized that, this is such a great opportunity to create passive income while still being able to run Ivy Swimwear, run my beauty academy, and also, be able to contribute to my husband's business and build something together with him. So that was a newfound passion of mine, interior design. And now I'm on year 2 of my Airbnb business, and I'm actually opening my 14th Airbnb next month.
Wow.
And I want to put out there, that it's. I want to put out there it's very, very important too that, we complement each other, honestly. My strong suit, honestly, I have zero patience sometimes for crazy questions, little things like on a property management side that we get, a kid that throws laundry detergent in a dishwasher and he makes a bubble bath in an apartment and is calling in like, what did I do wrong? Linda is great. You want to know why? She's Canadian, so she's super calm. You know what I mean? And I always said, like, if I didn't have her running the property management company, diffusing angry tenants for whatever reason, we would not have a business right now, honestly. So thank you very much for that, honestly.
Wow. What a nice compliment. But seriously, I mean, there's got to be times where it's just difficult. How do you balance being a professional, individuals and individual businesses together? I mean, what advice are you going to give the couples in the crowd here how to do business together and still have a life that you're not at each other's throats?
It's tough because we do spend so much time together. We wake up, we see each other, we have breakfast, I go to the office, I see his face again, I get off work, we have dinner together. So we spend almost 24 hours together. But I think the key to doing business with your significant other is definitely having different strengths, different departments. So like Pat said, I had a corporate background. So I brought that knowledge with me and I helped him build his corporate office, the property management side.
I definitely did not have a corporate background at all. Zero.
So that's where we balance each other, and he really respects my decision-making process when it comes to the corporate decisions, so we really don't cross paths and, step on each other's toes in that sense. You still really I respect my husband as my husband, but when it comes to business, at the end of the day, it's still business. So if there is a disagreement, like, I don't take anything personally. We both want to see the business grow and succeed. So I think that's really important, just to have an objective standpoint when it comes to making your decisions.
Yep. Well, I can tell you, for the friends that we're all friends with in our network, you guys are kind of like the ringleaders, right? You obviously have amazing amount of influence together. talk to us about how important the people in your network are to you in your success.
I think our network is everything. You know, we've been blessed to have so many good friends, families, a lot of them sitting here right now. You know, without our friends and family, we wouldn't be here right now, really. You know, our network, I know it's corny. Everybody says, oh, your network is your net worth. Yeah, it is. Your network is your net worth at the end of the day. Really, you never know. You can look right next to each other right now, and you have no idea if this person next to you is going to be the person that's going to elevate you. So don't ever close a door, right? Don't ever close that door.
That's great.
Yeah, you know, my mom used to always tell me growing up that whoever you pick to marry is going to be the biggest decision in your life. And I see that. And whether or not you have a significant other, who you surround yourself on a daily basis, it really determines the path you're going to go, right? So like what I love about our friends group is we always uplift each other. Regardless of what event it is, our whole gang comes out to support one another. And so that's everything to us. You know, if you pick the wrong circle of friends, that will definitely lead you down the right path. And picking the right partner in life, that's someone you're going to grow with, you're going to build your empires together. That's someone who's going to affect your mental health, your mental well-being on a day-to-day basis. So that's something I really want you guys to take away with is, you know, who am I surrounding myself with? Who do I see myself marrying? It really, really determines your success and your path in life. Yeah.
Well said, well said. So give us a glimpse into the future. Like, what's next? What's on the list for your projects?
I mean, for me right now, you know, we're currently at 250 units with a portfolio worth about $35 million.
Wait, how much? Wait, say that one more time.
35 pesos. So we're currently at 250 units right now, currently worth about $35 million. And we have in the pipe for the next year another 150 units. We're dabbling more right now into affordable housing. So I've made partnerships with the state of New York to build more affordable housing projects in the state of New York. So it's going to be a very, very exciting year coming. And, you know, even with Linda, we have a couple other projects also. We're going to be opening up a real estate brokerage firm in the office. Obviously, we have the property management side. We have the construction arm. In the construction arm, we're all self-sufficient. We own our own plumbers, electricians, HVAC guys, framers. They're all in-house for us. So, yeah, I mean, we have a somewhat bright future, I think. Somewhat busy.
Maybe is there like maybe another little thing that you want to talk to us about?
Yeah, well, for me, I'm super proud. This is Ivy Swimwear's 8th anniversary. You know, so it's definitely been a whirlwind of a ride. Starting this real estate journey with Pat has been an incredible experience. And I do feel like when you find the right partner in life, you know, anything seems possible. It feels like we can take over the world. So that's really exciting. And now we're on to our newest chapter. We're actually expecting in November, which is really exciting.
Daddy Chiou!
Baby Chiou. Wow, well, thanks for taking us on this incredible journey and inspiring everybody here. Hopefully you got something that you could take away, you know, in terms of how to be successful in business, but more importantly, how to be successful together through the support of each other and support of your network. It's been absolutely incredible. So thank you very much, and let's just keep hustling. Every day I'm hustling. And
then also, guys, we'll be hanging around. Come and say hi. We're more than happy to answer any questions with you guys, all right? Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate all you guys. You guys are beautiful. You're amazing. Let's get it, baby.
all right.
That was
Good job.
great.